listening to this transmission, you or the Righteous Rising.
Radical Stance Revolution. Radical Stance Revolution.
If you are listening to this transmission, you or the Righteous Rising.
Radical Stance Revolution.
What's happening, y'all? A little fired up today. I'm a little fired up today. I just wanted to wrap it, y'all, for a second. A little fired up today. Listen, personal accountability. Look, the last one came in and it didn't have no audio. So after the 40 minutes went by and the audio cut out, my computer, the whole nine, you guys remember that. Well, today I do got the computer plugged in. We don't have to worry about that part, but like I said, a couple months ago when I started tinkering around with some of these new approaches to filming these videos and leveling up, remember, because we're in a war, level up, and I immediately took the Holy Spirit and was like, cool, we're just going to start doing new things and start working on some new things and pushing, not just adding on things, but also moving forward. I have been setting up YouTube and a bunch of other things to move forward in life and business personally. I'm encouraging you to do the same thing. That's why we're talking about personal accountability. But that audio cut out in the last part of that video, and I'm not going to try to recount what was there. The first 40 minutes was enough for you to go on. And the secondary reason is because that was a moment. I can't recreate that. So you have to chalk that up as, yes, we are in a war. And Satan knows how to fight back. Okay, he knows how to fight back, but that's not going to stop us from fighting back. So I've been doing a few things that I want to talk to you all about. If you're not already aware of these things through conversation, but you to help you in this effort, because we got to ramp up to where we are consistent. We have to get to the place to where we are consistent, like so consistent. So consistent. We have to get to the place where we're consistent. And what I mean is, I don't repeat myself, but what I mean is like you have to take command of your energy. You have to take command of your spirit. You have to take command of all those things. You have to take command of those things. I'm trying to be brief. I really work on that. But the fact that we don't really practice discipline, we have discipline. See, that's the thing. Where's that card at? I said earlier. Hold on. What I say? I gotta write it down on the card. Give me 2 seconds. I write everything down. And that's a discipline that you should do. You should write everything down. All right. Find a way to capture things, whether it's vocal recording or whatever. I used to do the voice recording, capture your thoughts, and I'd never go back and listen to them, because that's a second discipline, going back, capturing it, whether it's writing it down or going back. But I find that if I keep these 3x5 cards everywhere, and you guys know I've told you this before, I keep these legal pads everywhere. If you've been in my house, you see the pile of notebooks and 3x5 cards. So write everything down. And yes, the reason why I leave these on the desk is because it forces me to come back to them and say, oh, I need to organize this thought into the other notebook that actually has everything listed neatly. Okay, so that's like a type of journaling. Okay, I'm not like the one to sit here doing gratitude journals, even though that's good. Or just writing, the diary types or the personal documentary type journals, or just recording the different events in your life. I kind of log all my thoughts and stuff, and God's thoughts and all those type of things. But I'm sitting here working on the calendar, because determining what you do with the calendar is how you predetermine the decisions you're making. But they're not decisions if they go on your calendar, or commitments. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about the difference in decision. And there's a difference between deciding and committing. There's a big difference. Like deciding and committing, and like we say decision, but God doesn't ask us for a decision. He asks for commitment. He asks for your whole heart, mind, soul. He asks for your entire life. Okay. He asks for a commitment. He don't ask for just a decision. Now, I know I'm talking about something that again, very close together, seems the same. Now, why do I do this all the time every time I talk about these concepts? Because in sign language, this means the same. That's literally the actual American Sign Language for the word same, similar. Okay. So very similar, but not not the same. Okay. They're not the same. They're two different things. All right. So decisions and commitments. Decisions and commitments. When you talk about personal accountability, like where I was in the last video, if you didn't watch the first 40 minutes before the audio went out, check it out and watch it. Now, a week later, I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, let's do something with that. Okay, Lord, let's do something with that. If this is what you're pushing us to do to take care of this urgency, to move with urgency, that doesn't mean that we have to be like, oh, get up all the time and be like this, because but it does mean that there has to be a consistent level of energy. There has to be a consistent level of flow. There has to be a consistent strength, right? It can't you see what I mean? There has to be consistency. So for there to be signs of life, for there to be signs of effort or power, there has to be consistency. Now, the consistency is what gets you success. But the step before that is commitment, definite. When you say the word decision, like you can still wonder about some things. I'm deciding. Okay, I'm deciding. Are you decided yet? But when you're committed, it's like, no, I'm committed. Paul said, I'm fully persuaded that nothing, no life, no death, no angels, no peril, no sword can separate us from the love of God, right? No, nor things present, nor things, right? Y'all know that, Romans 8. That's what he said. Jesus is talking about the disciple counts the cost before he builds the house. He figures if he's committed to it or not. He makes sure he has everything that he needs. He makes sure, not just decided. Now, this is a whole nother thing because like it's like making me feel like, wait, when I'm just I'm just a young Christ master. I'm always in indecision. I'm always in a place where I'm deciding. Okay. And the best part is that Jeremiah, the scriptures in Jeremiah. Sorry, I can't give you chapter and verse because this one only hits me every once in a while, but it's in there. Look it up on your search engines, your Bible search. The Lord is near in the valley of decision. So when you're in the valley of decision, the Lord is near you. The Lord is near you to give you wisdom. The Lord is near you to help you get to that place of commitment. See, but because if you want to enter that veil and go the way that he consecrated for us, right? Full assurance in the heart. That doesn't sound like the full assurance, don't sound like no decision. Full assurance sounds like a commitment. Okay, boldness is not a word where you're in decision. Boldness is a word of commitment. You have to get to the place where you are really truly from your soul. You can actually have the belief and make the statement with full assurance in this statement that you don't make decisions, you make commitments. If you take the time to really think about that, that should cause you to have a carefulness about choices. Because if you make a choice, you choose something, that you have to be committed to it once you choose it. It's like the next level of integrity, the next level of authenticity. It's the next level of speaking the truth in your heart. If out of the abundance of my mouth the heart speaks, if out of the heart the flow the issues of life, then that means with every choice I make, with every thought I think, when I speak and say yes, it should be a commitment. I have to stick to it. I have to keep my word, keep my promises. And that's faith of Jesus Christ. Keep your word, keep your promises, right? Keep your commitments, keep your oaths. That's faith of Jesus Christ right there, Sermon on the Mount. And let your yea be yea and your nay, nay. In other words, don't speak, don't say, don't commit unless you're ready to commit. You just can't be a decision. That's faith of Jesus Christ. Those are actually two of Jesus's commandments that I'm giving you right there. So now he's talking about a commitment. He's not talking about just some regular old ragtag decision, ragtag decision making, float through life deciding. Commitment is where the discipline is. In some of the success circles, you'll hear uh, this quote: the successful man makes a decision and then he makes that decision right. Now, why would that quote make sense? Because a lot of people are in limbo all the time, right? I don't know what I should do. I don't know what I should do. I just want to do it. And then there's those people that overthink, because I used to be one of those people. I used to be one of these overthinkers. Okay. And you're overthink because you want everything to be right. You don't want anything else to happen. Okay. And the truth is, if you know good to do, you do good with all your might. See, the all your might part in the Bible right there, Ecclesiastes chapter 9, is saying commit to the good. The all your might is the commitment part, okay? The make the decision right part of that quote is the commitment part. Make the decision is if you see good. You know the difference between good and evil, don't you? Then be exercised in it. That means you need to exercise choices of good. Hey, there's multiple things out here that you could be doing that's good. Pick one and then commit. Pick one and then make it right. Pick one and then make it work. That means you don't pick it and then you're like, oh, doesn't feel good. Is that you pick and you work it and you learn it and you master it and you commit to it and you repeat until you get the good out of it. Not just good for you, good for all. Don't make decisions, make commitments. That's the faith of Jesus Christ, rascal saints. So you can be one next to the original right here, Christ Masters. Make commitments. Now, losing your life to gain it is not a decision anymore. You understand that's a commitment. Losing your life to gain it is not something that you approach just inerrantly. You approach it with carefulness. Losing your life to gain it is something that you understand you must be accountable for, because God will judge every secret thing, and your whole duty is to fear God and obey his commandments. All right. That's personal accountability. That's what's brewing over here on your boy, Brother John's heart. Okay? That's what's brewing over here, because see, we gotta put the work in. Now, I'm I'm literally structuring these things, right? And I'm trying to. I'm not trying anymore. I'm committing to getting them out, no matter if it's one on one, in a group, on the internet, wherever it is. Like, boom, boom, go hard. This is good. Stay in your lane. Do what it is. Do it with might. I'm asking you to do the same thing. Last time we talked about husbands and men and women, right? This is important for all people, man or woman. But men, brothers, it's even more important for you, because there's not a lot of us doing these things. There's more women catching on to these things than men. Now that keeps things out of harmony. Now what we need is, brothers, you got to push yourself. You got to push yourself past that dark place. You got to push yourself past these reactions. Talk about the reactions. Let's talk about the reaction. See, antipathy. Going back to faith of Jesus Christ, commandment number 1, forgiveness. If your brother has out against you and you know you have out against your brother, put your gifts at the altar. Proceed not forward. Married people, your prayers might be hindered lest you realize you are heirs together of the grace of life. You better settle your differences. Oh my God. Don't even approach the Father. Don't even approach. Don't even approach. You better work with the Holy Ghost, because that's where your help comes from. Settle your differences. How do I settle my differences though when I have these expectations? Antipathy. I expect the other person to do their part. Well, in short, without getting into a ton of details, because this is something that's coming down the pipe here closer as we move towards the summer. Y'all have heard me been mentioning this here and there. Is this: you have to get to the place to where you do it because you know that you don't, let's not say it that way. You have to get to the point to where you do it without expecting any result from the other person, any commitment from the other person, because commitment is deeply personal. Remember, your relationship with Jesus Christ is not that personal, but there are some aspects of it that are deeply personal. What do you mean? Well, the reason why you would become a rascal saint is so that your life is a ransom for many, just like Jesus. But on the communion side, in the communion with God, you want to get to the secret place of the Most High, under the shadow of the Almighty. Well, you got to put your trust in Him. You got to trust in Him with all your heart. He's your refuge and your strength, right? Psalms 91, but then Proverbs 3, 5, 6. Trust with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, if you're going to acknowledge Him, and in all your ways means commitment, acknowledgement, commitment. He can direct your paths. Come on, because the good steps of a good man are ordered of the Lord, right? But the good man is righteous. The good man fears the Lord. The good man walks in integrity and works righteousness, right? He don't lend his money out for usury. He want to dwell in the holy hill, right? He want to receive righteousness from his God because his hands is clean, his heart is pure. He want to see him as he is because he believed that he is a reward of those that diligently seek him, but you can't even see him if your heart ain't pure. And when we talk about antipathy, we talk about the root of bitterness, unforgiveness. It's deeper than just somebody had an odd against you. It has to do with your memory. Remember, we talk about time travel, past, present, getting stuck instead of being present. We talked about all this. Keep talking about all of it. I know I'm crushing a lot of spiritual understanding plus scriptural doctrine and foundations and real life. How do we connect real life all together at one time? I know I'm doing that to you right now, but it's necessary. It's necessary. You want to get like what's their name? Azariah, Michelle, and Hananiah. You're like, who that? Who them? The three Hebrew boys. Y'all want to get like them and have that boldness to be tossed in the fire no matter what. And y'all say, even if he don't save us, even if we die in the fire, he's still God. He still saved us. Even if he do save us, he's still God. He saved us. We just going to trust his sovereignty. Whatever he decides to do is what he's going to do. And that's what you have to do. You got to get like Michael, fighting the devil over Moses' body. And he's getting boom, boom, boom. And they're going hard. They're going hard. And then Michael's like, yo, I need a little extra boost. And right before Michael was about to be like, I rebuke you, he was like, oh, I better not. The Lord rebuke you. I will not despise the dominion of God, the sovereignty of God, the decisions of God, the commitments of God. We have to learn to do that with each other. We do it with God sometimes, some of us. Because there's some situations where, we get a little mad at God or we think God or we wonder about God. We're still deciding if we believe him. Don't get caught up in deciding, are you committed to believe in him? Because if you're committed to believe in him, then you understand his sovereignty and his severity is what Paul said, Romans 11. And you have to accept that sovereignty and severity. Ooh, but everybody just gets stuck on the compassion, Lord. They get stuck on the compassion, where they don't understand that the compassion is the chastising. The compassion is the daily correction of the righteous. Hey, you rather take the daily correction of the righteous, right? Being judged every day, right? 7-11, a quarter to 2, Psalms 7-11. Then being on wicked side and being subject to his anger every day, right? Revelation 10, Holy Spirit dropping down, land, sea, foot, down, left, right, time out. You don't want to be the wicked with time running out, do you? All right then. So we got to commit, right? Because you don't want to be lukewarm. You don't want to be lukewarm. You don't want to be somebody who's heard this information all your life now. Ah, all your life. God's got you to this point now. And now you feel like, well, God, why are you telling me this? Why are you showing me this type of things? He wants you to be hot. He wants you to be on. He wants you to be fully committed, persuaded, full assurance, full understanding, fullness, all in all. But you gotta want that. You gotta hunger and thirst after righteousness. It's like, but I do want it. Okay, remember, want or will or want. Okay, but see, if you keep wanting, you keep wanting, you keep wanting, and you're not willing, how you gonna eat the good of the land? If you keep wanting, you keep wanting, how you gonna not fall into the hands or situations like a slothful man? Wanting. If you keep wanting and you keep wanting and you keep wanting, when are you going to use your willpower to do the will of God? When are you going to use your willpower to make yourself do the things that you know we should do? Discipline. When you're going to work belief, working belief. If I believe it should work, but it works because I work it. When you're going to be like Nehemiah, the people, the mind to work. See how we going down all the list of things we've been talking about over the years? There's a reason why we come up with these little catchphrases like work and belief. It's not just series preaching here over at Christ Masters. It's not just series preaching. These are terms that's supposed to stick so you can keep the trail. You're supposed to be able to go back to the ancient landmarks, not these new revelations. You're supposed to be going back to the ancient landmarks, not new revelations. See, when you're dealing with landmarks, a landmark's a commitment. They ain't tearing that building down that got that little placard in the cornerstone that says landmark. They trying to preserve that thing. You know why? Because when you go through the city, they want you to know it's there. They want you to build a confidence that that's there, that building, that church, whatever landmark you have in your mind right now, because there's a ton of them, right? But let's just pick one that everybody understands. I just got down here to Georgia, but one of the most popular landmarks in the nation is the arch at St. Louis, the gate to the west. That's a popular landmark. Hey, we had one destroyed on 9/11. World Trade Center. You know, the Empire State Building is a landmark. There's a ton of landmarks here in the United States. Okay, let's talk about some landmarks abroad. The Eiffel Tower in France. All right, you know, the Golden Gate Bridge. We call them the wonders of the world, right? I know that's in San Francisco. The Great Wall of China. There's a ton of landmarks. There's a ton of landmarks. What's that? Pt.2 in Peru. There's a ton of landmarks. My man in Rio de Janeiro, right? The statue of Jesus Christ on the mountain with his arms out. Ton of landmarks. But the reason why they can be landmarks is because we as a people, humanity, a race, even though I don't believe in humanity, I believe in mankind for sake of understanding, we have committed to preserving those objects, those buildings, those bridges, those statues. We've committed to preserving them no matter what the conditions are. We've committed to those works of art, to the Colosseum, to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, to Picasso's and to what's his name did Starry Night, Van Gogh's, Mona Lisa. We've committed to preserving those works. Two directions, Holy Ghost, two directions, little help here. First direction, you're a work of art. You're God's handiwork. You're his workmanship, called according to good works, Ephesians 2:10, that you will walk in them. Oh my God, you're a masterpiece, a piece of the master. You think he ain't doing everything he needs to do to try to preserve you because you're a landmark. That's right. You were sent as a mark to be put on this land to make a mark on the land. You are a landmark. You think he ain't trying to preserve you right now? You think so? But are you marking the land? Oh, but we got to move about right now to avoid the mark, the beast mark. But we got to do our marking of this land so that we can receive the God mark. How do you do that? You got to mark the perfect man, for the end of that man and the upright is peace. Got to model yourself after righteousness. I walk on the paths, THS, paths of righteousness for his namesake. Told you there's two roads. There's two roads. Father, son, father, son. There's two roads. Make your mark. You're in the making. but you're made. See, God preserving you because you're a landmark like that building, but there's so much war, there's so much turmoil in the spirit, just even manifesting on the earth, right? Red horse, black horse, black horse, of course, of course. Commitment. What's going to get you through these next days, these coming years? Commitment. What's going to get you through this beginning of sorrows? Commitment. What's going to get you through? Heart of the martyr. Living witness. Commitment. Sold out. Got my mind made up. No turning back. We don't believe turning back. We want that pleasure from God, right? We want the soul to have pleasure in us. We don't believe in turning back. We believe to the saving of the soul. We don't go back to perdition. Stay here, right here. Commitment. Make mark. See those landmarks, those buildings. We work hard to preserve them. And then when they go down, like Notre Dame, when Notre Dame went up in flames, oh my God, people cried. When Notre Dame went up in flames, y'all, that was only a couple years ago. Y'all remember that? When Notre Dame was all up in flames? Notre Dame, the cathedral of Notre Dame, was on fire. And people lost their mind. They said, France will never be the same. Do you understand the importance of a landmark? That's why he's saying the scripture, I believe it's in Proverbs, return back to the ancient landmarks. He's talking about the foundations of the faith. He's not talking about new revelation. But if you get caught up in new revelation, then you're going to be making decisions instead of commitments. But if you deal with these landmarks, you deal with these foundations, you're going to be making commitments because you are committed to the committer. You understand? You get it. You totally understand. I know you do. Feel it in your heart, though. Let it in your heart. Can't love him with all your heart, mind, and soul if you don't allow it to feel, if you don't allow nothing to touch your soul. And that's why I can't get free from this antipathy. We hoping so much for the goodness of the Lord, the love of God to flow through us, but at the same time, the refining, we don't like what the refining brings to the surface. And when you deal with what God brings to the surface, because he's a corrector, rebuker, warner, instructor in righteousness. So he is. You got to believe who he is first in order to accept what he does. Oh, but what God does for me is he puts out his hand with a blessing. No. If you really want the change, why not get the change and the blessing? God puts out his hand in the beginning of your walk with God, and he does a few things for you. He wants you to believe in him. Then he starts correcting. He starts shaping. He starts doing that potter thing. And then what we do? We do what Jeremiah. Does the pot have the right to tell the sovereign potter, the sovereign maker, the creator, the everlasting father of the ends of the earth, what it wants to be? But to make him up, what if God want to grab some limestone? What if and he want to add some redstone? He want to add some mud. He want to etch some circles in you. What if he want to throw you in the fire 10 times? Oh my God. What if he pick you up and he's like, oh my goodness, it's an air bubble. We got to start over. What if there's a crack? What if he just look at you and be like, you know what? I could turn that into something else. What if he want to remake you? What are you made of? All this stuff is pouring out, overlapping on each other. I'm not saying a whole bunch of things. We're really saying one thing. But if you catch on to the one thing, you can get into all things. Come on, get focused. We got to get definite. We got to get focused. And the way you get focused is you have to take the time to sit down and actually make commitments, determine commitments. You got to get the calendar out and you got to get this working. You got to start thinking. You got to start using that memory. You got to start tapping in. If you need help with that, call me. I'm serious. Let's get it done. All right. I don't want to ramble. I was about to say it, but I'm about to scramble. Anyway, let's get past making decisions. Let's start making commitments. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. But I want y'all to take this seriously, okay? Trying to do my best. But I'm out here working too. I'm working on me, working on the kingdom, looking for more people. Be co-laborers. The Lord Jesus Christ. All right, Rascal Saints. Yeah.
Rascal Saints Revolution. Rascal Saints Revolution.